communities and provide financial literacy through our credit consulting services. All right. So at this current moment in time, I actually have to update this. We're at, I believe, 250 right now when it comes to our active clients. And we're looking to service at least 1,500 by the end of 2023. So a pretty tall goal for us to have, but it's a goal that we believe we can get to nonetheless. We pride ourselves on quality customer service, our unwavering commitment to excellence, and just providing clients that come into our company with results that are second to none in the industry. Okay. In regard to our values, our vision and our mission are very clear cut. Our vision is to, of course, help bridge the gap between our clients and everything that they need to become financially literate. You being in the car rental space, we talked about it on the interview, and you know it. Like, credit is everything, right? 100%. Especially as an entrepreneur. And we understand and believe that through our restoration services and being able to help people get their files cleaned up, we help to kind of bridge the gap between them and whether they want to get a car rental or real estate or whatever the case it may be. We're able to do that for them. All right. Now, as it pertains to our mission is simply to serve underrepresented communities through our credit consulting services, right? We'll talk a little bit more about this once I talk about, our team, which is me, of course, and Webb. But, we both come from Caribbean backgrounds. You come from an African background. All three of us here know, the lack of financial literacy to a certain degree that wasn't taught to us growing up, right? I wasn't taught about credit. I wasn't taught about business credit and investing and all these other different things, right? 100%. We believe we're able to do that through our servicing, which is credit restoration, and not only helping people get one step closer to their goals, but through our services, educating them about how credit works, how credit restoration works, and why credit is so important, right? So the owners of the company, like we said at the top of the call, are me and Webb. I'm the chief executive officer, and he's the chief operations officer. How the company came to be is, we essentially both had our own individual credit restoration companies. His was based out of New Jersey. Mine was based out of New York. And we had known each other for a good amount of time and kind of just got to a point where we had a good amount of success in our own individual companies, but we knew that we could do a lot of greater things coming together and forming just one bigger company, where my strengths were is where, his weaknesses were, and where his strengths were is where my weaknesses were. So we just complemented each other perfectly to where we're able to come together, build this company, and really just serve our purpose on a much faster and larger scale, which is exactly what we're doing.
So was that a merger of Francois Capital, I believe it was called? Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
So you remember my original company?
That's what I thought. Yeah.
So we essentially I brought my company, which was Francois Capital. His original company was called Dispute Web Credit Repair. Okay. So he took his company, I took my company, brought together. Thus was created Takeoff Financial.
Gotcha.
Alrighty. So now, let's talk a little bit about our servicing and our packages. Our packages are very clear cut, very straightforward, right? So we offer two packages. One package is an individual package, which is called our gold package, where essentially the client who's signing up will be signing up for an initial payment of $199.99, right? So essentially $200, and then they're getting charged $99 a month, right? And that's just for an individual. And then for our couples package, we have it to where they would sign up for $299, right? So essentially, if you're signing up as a couple, you're saving $100 on the front end, and then it's $199 a month. Okay. Now, with our dispute flow, how we go about challenging negative items is, number one, we challenge using consumer law-based disputing. I think that's very important for you to know, because I'm sure you've dealt with some other credit repair people before. A lot of people who do credit repair don't actually use actual legal methods of doing credit repair. They're using identity theft reports.
I know what they do. I know what they do. We know what they do.
Yeah, we know what they do. With us, you do not have to worry about that. We use actual legal methods of challenging negative items on behalf of our clients, right? Because we want to make sure that we're not putting them in harm's way, and we also want to make sure that we're not trying to besmirch your name, our name, or their name, right? 100%. And it's very important. So it's very important that you know, no police reports, no identity theft reports, no nothing like that, right? How our program works is essentially once somebody comes in and they get signed up for credit restoration, they're assigned what's called a client coordinator. So a client coordinator is essentially someone within our company that is essentially handling their file and working with them one-on-one on a month-to-month basis, and they're the ones processing their dispute letters. They're providing them updates on a consistent basis in regards to what's happening with their file, and they're there to answer any questions and concerns they may have as the process is taking place. Why am I not seeing this get deleted? What's going on with this file? I haven't heard anything back from the credit report agencies. We assign somebody to that client to be there to answer those kind of questions and make sure they never feel like they're in the dark about anything that's happening. Okay. Now, The one thing that you should know about as it pertains to our program is that we challenge all negative items except public records. So unfortunately, at this moment in time, we don't deal with bankruptcy.
Okay.
And we don't deal with child support. So that's very important for you to know as well.
Okay.
Because I know that there are going to be some people that come with those items. So that's not to say that we can't help them. But that is to say, like, for example, if somebody has like a bankruptcy on their credit report and they have other negative items, we can challenge the other negative items, but we wouldn't challenge the bankruptcy. Gotcha. If they have a child support on their credit report and they have other negative items, we can challenge the other stuff. We wouldn't challenge the child support. And if that's a make or break thing for them, then unfortunately we wouldn't be able to bring them on because, you know, we just don't challenge those things at the time. And another thing we don't deal with, and I know that this is something that's very prevalent in your field, we don't do hard inquiry sweeps. So to explain what that means, we do challenge hard inquiries. But if you come to us and you only want us to remove inquiries, we do not service you on that. It's service with just that.
Gotcha.
So if you have inquiries plus negative items, we'll deal with the inquiries and the negative items.
Okay.
But if you simply just have inquiries by itself, then no, we wouldn't be able to we wouldn't be able to help you out with that.
And it's also clear to point out, like in the first bullet point there, you're saying you're challenging negative items, right? So not necessarily people that just want to get positive accounts removed for their report. You guys don't do things like that, because I also hear a lot of people wanting to do that. Oh, I want to take off this mortgage. I want to take off this car. You know. So
how we do not remove positive, and I'm very, some people who say that probably it's for like, for example, you'll have people that have like a student loan account. They're like, I want to remove it because, you know, sometimes student loans can mess with your DTI, which is true.
Right.
But at the same time, student loans actually also help your report as well because for a lot of those people, that student loan has been sitting on your report for 5, 6, 7 years.
Gives them history.
It's actually helping you in a way too. But no, we do not remove positive. We do not remove positive accounts. That's not something we do. What we do is, if you have a negative account that's closed, we work to see if we can get that account, removed or updated to positive. And if you have an open account with late payment, we can challenge the late payments on the account to see if we can get the late payments updated to positive. Okay. Right? But, that's pretty much it. Now, a couple other things that you should know is, as it pertains to our refund policy, right? Because that's also important for you to know. With our program, we do not make any guarees that we're going to get everything removed.
100%. Nobody can.
Yeah, it's want to be very red. Number one, we can't even do it because it's illegal. By way of the Credit Repair Organizations Act, if I was to sit here and tell you, oh, we're going to get everything, it's not. Number one, it's unrealistic. Number two, it's illegal. So what we do to kind of give our clients a sense of confidence coming into the program is that our policy is, if you get to round 6 and we haven't got you any updates, any deletion, we haven't done anything for your report at all, you'll be able to request a refund minus the initial fee that you paid to get started. Okay. That's very important for you to know. That's our sense of insurance that we give.
And round 6, that's the 6th month, right?
Yeah. Okay. No, that's 6 months of disputing. Okay. So as long as they've been keeping their monitoring active on a month-to-month basis, and we've been able to go in, because there are certain clients that come in, and we're on month 6, but they had lapses in their credit monitoring subscription, and we've only been able to process 3 or 4 rounds of disputes. Well, even though you're on month 6 of being with us, we've only been able to do 3 or 4 rounds of disputes because you didn't keep your monitoring active. Gotcha. Therefore, you're not yet at a point yet where we'd be able to qualify you for the refund. But that's something to be aware of as well. And then another thing too, one of the great things about our program is that our client portal is extremely thorough. So every question that any client that you send us is going to have, 99% of them can get answered in the portal. What letters are we sending out? When did we send out the letters? What's going on with my file? What's the update on this? 99% of those questions can get answered in their client portal. Oh, excellent. So they get access to that. So they can almost self-service themselves. Any questions that... Perfect, bro. I love that. Everything. Because that was one thing that we wanted to prioritize within our company, because we understand that, one big thing in this industry and why so many people are apprehensive about credit repair is they feel like they're in the dark a lot of times when they're going through the process. We've created a system to where our portal literally lets you see everything and anything that's happening on your file on a month-to-month basis. So you're never in the dark. And even if you do feel like you're in the dark, what happens is, if you feel like, I have some questions I don't feel like I want to ask through the portal, you can call into our company line and set up a one-on-one appointment with Webb, which is he's our client coordinator supervisor, so that he's able to sit down with you and talk with you and break down any questions that you may have about your file. Okay. So our customer service experience at this company is second to none. I'll put us up against anybody. Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh.
And one thing I always preach to our team is we want to be the Chick-fil-A of credit restoration.
I like that tagline.
and that's why we take training and customer service to another level when it comes to our clients.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I love that. Now, let me ask you this. While we're on this page discussing what you offer, so a lot of my mentees, a few big things to them is going to be like late payments, collections, and then repossessions. Do you guys tackle any of those?
Yes, all three.
Okay, perfect. Because I know all of them complain about that. Now, what about people that also, because I know credit repair is almost twofold, right? It's taking off negatives, but then what about adding positives or helping them build up their profile?
I'm happy you asked that. So once they're onboarded and assigned a client coordinator, our client coordinator is going to provide them a PDF that's going to give them a list of resources of different credit building accounts that they can add to their profile to strengthen their profile while they're in the process of getting negative items off. So we're literally giving you a list of different accounts that you can add on while we're removing all the negative items off. So they're taken care of on that regard.
Perfect. Love it.
Yeah. And if there is any questions as far as the credit building accounts they have, they always have access to their client coordinator from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. So if they have any questions at all, how does this affect my score? How does anything with my account? The client coordinator is there for them to answer any questions that they have regarding their file.
Excellent. Identity monitoring. What do you guys need? Is it Identity IQ also?
So great question. So we accept all 4 different types of credit monitoring. We accept My Free Score Now, Identity IQ, Smart Credit, and My Score IQ. However, when we're getting them signed up, the main one that we offer and partnered with within our company is My Free Score Now. So once they get signed up, they're going to get a link to once they sign up for a consultation. That confirmation link for the consultation is going to have a link for them to sign up with a credit monitoring from My Free Score Now. Okay. Now, if they already are with Identity IQ or Smart Credit or any of these other ones, we're not going to strong arm them and say you have to. Gotcha. Like if you have one of the other ones, we'll work with you. Okay. But if you don't, we're going to recommend for you to sign up with My Free Score Now.
Okay, gotcha. I don't mean to preempt your slides, but very soon, are you going to kind of walk me through the onboarding process for them too? My man, just make it. I knew. I just wanted to make sure. I mean, go ahead. It's the New Year's. I wasn't sure if you went with me. You might still be on vacation mode. I wasn't sure. Perfect. So, kind of walk me through like the onboarding process. So, once they fill out that form, what documents do you guys need them to have to get started? Do they have to upload that into the portal immediately? How does that work?
Yeah. So, what do you want to walk through, or do you want me to do it?
Walk through.
Got you. So what happens is once they fill out that form, essentially they're going to get a link that's going to bring them over to our company calendar. Okay. Right? Once they get a link that brings them over to our company calendar, that's where they're going to be able to schedule a consultation with our sales team to talk about their file. Right. Okay. And once they select the date and the time that they want to schedule that consultation, immediately they're going to get an automated text message and email sent over to them that's going to confirm the date and time that they chose, but then it's also going to send over a link for them to sign up for their credit monitoring in advance of the call. Okay? Now, from the time that they schedule their consultation to the time that consultation is actually happening, over the course of those couple of days, however much time is in between there, they're going to be getting a message here and there that's going to, number one, remind them of the appointment that's coming up, and also remind them to sign up for credit monitoring, right? Okay. So that when we're on the call, we have everything that we need to be able to break down our process, review their credit report, and things of that nature. Okay. Once the day of their call comes and they get on the phone with a sales representative, the sales representative takes a little bit of time at the top of the call to learn a little bit about their overall situation. What are their goals, right? Why are you looking to get your credit restored? Are you trying to buy a house? Are you trying to buy a car? Are you looking for business funding? Or are you just looking to get your credit repaired just to get it repaired? What is it? And then from there, we go into a breakdown of just our company process, how we restore your credit, how long the process takes, who's going to be taking care of your file, just answering certain questions, comments, and concerns that they may have on the front end. Okay. Once all of those things are ironed out, and that person is like, hey, all right, cool, I'm ready to get signed up. From there, our sales representative then brings them over to our CRM, which is our client relationship management software, where we manage the clients. Once they bring them there, that's when they start setting up their profile inside of the CRM. The CRM that we use is a program that's called Dispute Files. Okay. Right? So basically bring them inside that CRM, and they're collecting their demographic information. So they're going to collect their name, they're going to collect their address, they're going to collect their phone number, they're going to collect their email, the last 4 digits of their social security number, and then from there, that profile is going to get created. Okay. Once that profile is created, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to get an email automatically sent over to them that's going to provide them a link to their client portal. And inside that client portal, the first thing they're going to see when they get in there is their client agreement, like you and I, like we've been discussing.
Okay.
To get that client agreement, once they sign that client agreement, now they've officially become a client. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Go ahead, Web.
And I would say one thing. So most people are on their phones when they're doing the consultation.
Mm-hmm.
The actual client agreement, this is an electronic agreement. So they can go ahead and actually sign it using, almost like DocuSign.
Gotcha.
They can sign it using their signature, and the signature that they use to sign that agreement is the same signature that will populate inside the bottom of their letters once they've been assigned a client coordinator.
Okay.
So that way, when we go ahead and your client coordinator finishes their disputes, and they've already been assigned and finishes their disputes, it gets sent to our mailing center, and then that signature on the bottom is what will be on their disputes.
Oh,
so I want to make that clear.
Perfect.
So once they now pay attention here, right? Once they sign their client agreement, from there, our sales representative is going to take them and transfer them over to our onboarder.
Okay.
Now, our onboarder, at this current moment in time, Webb has been the one that's been handling the onboarding. However, we're getting ready to transition that responsibility over to our lead client coordinator, whose name is Emma.
Okay.
Right? By February, she should be the one that's handling those responsibilities.
Okay.
Right? So once they've signed their agreement, they now get transferred over to our onboarder, who probably at that point in time would be Emma. And what Emma is going to do is collect all the documentation and things like that we need from them that's going to be populated into the letters. So the first thing we're going to need is, do you want to say something or you want me to go?
No, I was just going to build off of what you were just saying.
Yeah, go ahead, go.
So pretty much, whether it's this Emma or someone else doing the onboarding, they would collect certain documentation. For one, they would actually review and show the client what their portal is. It's going to be the bread and butter. This is what they'll be able to see and use throughout the process.
Okay.
Then they'll help them collect two documentations: their photo ID and their utility bill. The reason as to why they ask for those two items is because that's what the credit reporting agencies need as well.
Gotcha.
Then from there, if they already signed up for credit monitoring, the onboarder will then provide them what's called a credit analysis, which we went over earlier.
Right.
And the credit analysis is a comprehensive breakdown, a PDF that is emailed to them and also texted to them. And it's also going to be inside their portal that they'll review with the actual client together.
Okay.
That way the client, they see, I have this amount of collections, I have this amount of late payments, I have this on my credit report, and it's detailed to where they can fully understand.
100%.
Once that is complete, then the onboarder will then go ahead and take a card on file.
Okay.
Once the card is on file, then once the card is on file, then the actual onboarder will then bill the client. Now, there's times where a client may want to, let's just say, for example, they enroll on a Tuesday, and they say, hey, I don't get paid until Friday, or I won't have it until Friday. Our onboarder will then schedule the invoice for Friday or whatever day they choose, and then from there, once they're successfully billed, then they'll be assigned a client coordinator.
Okay. Perfect.
Once they're assigned a client coordinator, the client coordinator will then introduce themselves inside the portal. So let's just say, for example, it was Joe Schmo or John Smith. He signed up today on Thursday. The client coordinator will then reach out to them inside the portal. They will introduce themselves, and then they will review their report, and then they will start working on their actual first round of disputes.
Gotcha. You don't need their social security card, do you?
No.
Okay.
So it's optional. Like, if they want to provide it, we'll take it. But the tricky thing, I know it's tricky because a lot of people don't have access to the social security card, so we don't pressure them for it. If they want to give it to us, we'll take it. But if they don't have it, we're not going to be sticklers for it. Another thing too, to piggyback off of what Webb said, because like I said, we need the driver's license as a proof of identification, and then a utility bill for a proof of address. A lot of times we get younger clients or people that just don't have utility bills, like they don't have bills in their names, like gas, water, bill. In the event of that, what we also do sometimes is for those people, what we tell them, because usually everyone has this, log into one of your mobile banking apps. Okay. And then from there, you log into one of your mobile banking apps, you take one of your more recent bank statements.
Oh, that's a bar.
Yeah, if you screenshot the first page, that first page usually has your name and your address on there, and we can use that as a proof of address.
Oh, so that's a bar.
If you don't have a utility bill, the bank statement is the next, because everybody has a Capital One, a Bank of America, a Chase, or something like that they can use.
I like that.
That's pretty much the process.
All right, so just also one final question for me too. Like, could you give a realistic expectation, right, of when they can see results? I do know you say you give guarantees if they wait 6 months, and you can't guarantee anything in credit repair, right? But just I've noticed like people in this niche, the car rental niche, they're itching, they're excited, they're ready to get started, right? So like, what would you say is realistic as far as like maybe helping them build up their score to where they could go to a dealership and try to get into a car as soon as possible?
Let me answer this one. So, to be very transparent, there is no set timetable, and the reason why I say that there's no set timetable is because here's what happens. Even if I tell you that in 4 to 6 months, right? That's at that point in time, your files should start to look a little bit better. You should start to see results.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what happens with a client is if they come in and they don't see something happening in 4 to 6 months, oh, it's not working.
Right.
Oh, this is a scam. It's a fake. It's a phony. It's this is that.
Right.
But the reality is the program is different for everybody because no two credit reports are alike. Right? There's so many different moving pieces that goes into what keeps a negative item on your report. The personal information that's on there. How much debt do you owe? Who's holding the debt? Right? Have you made any payments on the debt? Right? We've had situations where we've had clients come in that have the same type of debt, the same type of accounts, the same, like their credit reports damn near look identical. And for client A, it took them 2 to 3 months to start seeing results. And for client B, it took them 5 to 7 months for things to really start rocking and rolling. Right? Because once again, there's just so many different moving variables. Right. So there's no timetable on it because, whether you have 1 collection account or 10 collections account, it's a month-to-month process, which is why we do everything that we can on the customer service side of things to just make you know that, hey, we are on top of it. We're communicating with our clients diligently. We're also showing you what we're sending in the letters. That's another thing too. In their client portal, they're actually going to have access to see the letters that we're sending out on their
So that's full transparency. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Now, bro, it pisses me off because I unfortunately, the bad eggs in the industry matter of fact, I was driving in Atlanta and they actually have these bandit signs on lawn signs out there saying credit sweep, 24 hours. They're promising that kind of crap out there. So people have that fast food mentality when it comes to credit. And it blows my mind because number one, like you mentioned earlier, you're setting yourself up. These people are doing the FTCs and like all that illegal fake police reports. They're doing all of that, number one. Number two, it blows my mind that people don't mind going to a club and spending $700-800 on a bottle of tequila. But instead of investing, I think credit repair, every businessman should have somebody doing credit repair on a monthly.
Absolutely.
$99 a month is nothing.
Especially if you have negative items on your report.
Come on, to make sure you're A1. So when you're ready to make that move, you're 100%. It blows my mind that people don't see it that way, but they'll go blow, $1,000 on a bottle in a heartbeat. It's crazy.
So, it is crazy, but that's why, this partnership was so huge for me and Webb because a lot of the things that you're talking about, me and him saw it earlier on and we were like, how can we do things not only different, but do things better?
I applaud you.
Absolutely.
So, we came here, we said, how can we take customer service to another level? How can we take how we're sending out these letters, what we're putting in these letters, all these things to the next level to where we're able to provide you the best experience possible, right? And at the end, a big part of that is just being honest.
Right.
One thing that me and Webb, I talked to Webb about, I said, listen, and I tell my team this every week, I said, you guys have to understand, 99% of the people that come to us for servicing, they've worked with at least 2 to 3 companies before us that probably ripped them off.
100%.
So we have to work twice as hard to just get their trust, and a big part of that is just being honest. So that's why I'm saying to you, I'm not gonna, Mike. Listen, if I knew we could get this stuff off in one day, I would tell you right now, oh, it's coming off in one day.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a process that takes time. It can take upwards of up to 12 months, and that's another thing. It'll never go beyond 12 rounds of disputing, right? Because we as a company, we control the controllable. So we can't control how long it's going to take negative items to come off, but what we can control is how long we dispute on your behalf. We can control how much you are aware of what's taking place on your file as we're disputing on your behalf. We control all of these things, and we make sure that the client is never in the dark and never feels like, damn, I don't know what these people are doing. No,
gotcha.
You know what we're saying. You know what we're putting in the letters. In our portal, you can even see when we print and mail out your letters.
Any activity that's done inside your portal, you'll be able to see.
Okay.
In the portal.
No, I like that. Full transparency. 100%.
Full transparency. So, like I'll tell you this, and I'll even say it on recording, of course, we want to be able to get everything off each person's credit report that we service. Realistically, though, the goal is always to try and get at least anywhere between like 60 to 85% of it off. Okay. If we're able to do that,
that's a win. That's a big win.
We're in good standing, but I want to make sure that we're fully transparent with you because I respect your business.
Yeah,
I respect the relationship I have with you, and I don't want you to send people our way talking about, oh no, these guys, they're gonna get everything. Like, no, I'm not making you that guarantee. I'm
Right.
not making you that promise. But what I will tell you is, at no point in time in this process will you ever wonder or think to yourself, these guys aren't doing the work, and these guys aren't, don't have my best interest in hand. Those are the two things for sure that you'll never have to worry about when you come into the company.
100%. I like that. You did mention you guys are using consumer law, so that kind of begs the question. I wonder, like, is that an service you guys are offering now or in the future? Because oftentimes you have to take it all the way. Maybe go to court. Is that something you guys will be doing on their behalf eventually? Is that a service you have now or in the future?
That is a great question. So at this current moment in time, litigation is not something that we are offering within our company. As time progresses, because the thing about the industry, things do change constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So if it gets to a point where we believe that that's something we need to include within our servicing in order to ensure we get our clients better results, then we will strongly consider adding it.
Okay.
But at the current moment in time, litigation is not something I offer. Another thing we also don't offer is like debt consolidation services.
Okay.
So a lot of times, you have clients that come to us and they're like, "Well, this collections agency is trying to sue me. Can you guys help?" And it's like, we would love to. That's just not something that we offer right now. Our focus is strictly challenging the negative items that are on the report. So at this current moment in time, that's all we do. But as our partner, any changes like that happen within our company, you would be made aware of it immediately.
100%. Off the record, Metro 2 or consumer law? You gotta answer that.
That's a good question. So here's the thing, right? Both of them are effective. Personally, I don't think Web is experienced. Web, have you've tried Metro 2 or no?
Metro 2, but nah. Consumer law all the time.
I've experimented with both. They're both effective. Metro 2 is a lot. It's very interesting though because number one, it's a lot more paperwork that goes into it. Like some of these attacks that you're using in Metro 2, it's like 30, 40, 50 pages at a time.
Oh wow!
Yeah. It was a lot. Like back when I used to do it, I used to spend a pretty penny on postage, man.
Wow.
Metro 2 is just simply the language, and it's a very tedious process. Both are tedious process. Both come with their pros and both come with their cons.
Yeah.
But if for me, I would go with consumer law, and that's what we've been going as far as the company.
Gotcha. And finally, off the record for me too is I would need you guys to kind of ponder, and I don't know how, but it is an issue because a lot of these gurus out there. I'm not going to mention any names of the big names in my space that came before me. They pushed that whole buy 30 cars in 30 days. And it wrecked a lot of people in our community. Like I get them every day. They're wrecked. They're going through bankruptcies. They can't even qualify to get a cell phone anymore because they took on all that debt. And I mentioned that on your show too. So a solution for them somehow to dig out of that. Right now, unfortunately, a lot of them are being forced to go to a lot of these credit suite people. That's the only option they have. They try to refinance it and they can't even qualify to refinance those things off. So somehow, some way, and that's why I wasn't sure if consumer law can in any way help them. Maybe permissible purpose laws or something could help remove some of those things for them. I don't know. Have you guys come up with any solutions or do you have anything possible?
As it pertains to which accounts in particular?
It's mostly auto loans. It's auto loans. These people getting auto loans on their personal.
Well, when it comes to auto loan, if the auto loan is open, we challenge it. We challenge if there are late payments on there, we challenge the late payments to get them updated. We don't necessarily try to remove the account altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have anything to like. If it's closed, then kind of depending on what the back and forth is between the credit reporting agency, we either look to see if we can get the account updated to positive, or if it's closed, that's where we try to get it removed. But if it's open, we're not usually looking to challenge the account to get it removed. We're just looking to keep those negative marks on there changed. So if that changes and we are able to provide something where we're able to help people like the ones that you're talking about, once again, we would let you know.
Yeah, it's open positive accounts. That's what it's drowning them because there are too many of them.
So essentially, like you said, just removing it altogether to get off
their DTI is just too high, and that's the problem. Yeah, so
it's something that we'll explore. Because, like I said, we get it on both fronts, not just with the cars, but also with the student loan situations.
Yeah.
So, but right now, no, it's not something that we think. But we will actively be looking into it to see.
100%. Please let me know because, a lot of people could use that. But, Man, this has been great, bro. I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. I was gonna ask if there was a special deal for the community, but you've already. I mean, the pricing already is great, so there's nothing to. Yeah, you guys are good, man. Thank you.